If you laugh, you risk appearing to be a fool. If you weep, you risk appearing to be sentimental. If you reach out for another, you risk rejection. If you love, you risk not being loved in return. If you place your dreams in front of the crowd, you risk ridicule. If you go forward in the face of overwhelming odds, you risk failure. But risk must be taken, for the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing has nothing, does nothing is nothing. Well, in the world of ego is nothing. That person may avoid suffering, pain, and embarrassment, but that individual will not learn, love, change, feel, or grow. Only the person who takes risks is truly free.
Shalom, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Waharachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who I learned this truth from and who rule well. And salutations and blessings to you elect, starting with 144,000 on down. So this video I played is going to tie in with the lesson on risk. And this person speaking is a famous boxer. Okay, the Eubank family. He has a son who's also a boxer, Chris Eubank. This is Eubank Sr. And he's speaking some facts. And when you tie it in with the scriptures, it lines up, right? Let's get Luke 14 and 27 NLT. And if you do not, this is Yahweh Shai, and if you do not carry your own cross and follow me, you cannot be my disciple. But don't begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there is enough money to finish it? This is going into risk. All kinds of examples, right? We can deal from the carnal example of boxing or martial arts. If you want to pick up martial arts as a hobby, as a passion, just to train, that's great. Even there's risk in that as well, you know. But if you want to become if that's your job, right, you have to understand there's a risk of serious injury, all kinds of injuries, right? There's a risk of going broke or being broke for a long time, being a journeyman. There's all kinds of risk that you have to take in. Well, same thing with this truth, right? This is why when people leave the truth, they blame their camp head, they blame the second, they blame Apostle Tahar. He's no longer Apostle Tahar, he's just Tahar. You know, the bishops, the elders. You blame Yahweh Shai essentially because you haven't count the costs. Oh no, you know, my mom died and my girlfriend left, and you know, I don't see my child, and fuck this is too much. Well, you didn't count the cost, because Yahweh Shai told you it can come down to the point of you forsaking your family, your loved ones, your home. Okay. Verse 29, otherwise you might complete only the foundation before running out of money, and then everyone would laugh at you. They would say, there's the person who started that building and couldn't afford to finish it. And you must afford to be in this truth, man, giving up carnal things, man, shaving off the mortal man. As Paul said, mortify thy members. Mortify means dead, to deaden your carnal desires, right? Your aspirations. We all had aspirations and goals and different things, and temptations still arise. We're in the flesh, right? Verse 31, or what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors to discuss whether his army of 10,000 could defeat the 20,000 soldiers marching against him? And if he can't, he will send a delegation to discuss terms of peace while the enemy is still far away. So you cannot become my disciple without giving up everything you own. And this is not exaggeration. It's not a parable. It's not a metaphor. It literally means that. The longer you're in this truth, the more work you are tilling. You know, brothers can tell you about their losses. You will have to at some point lose seriously in the concept of in the sense of this flesh, you know, with the lusts of your eyes, with the things that you desire or you desired, And then really once you pass that hurdle, you say, this is not important. This never really benefited me. You just thought it did, right? Now, let's dig into this word risk. The word risk, risque, hazard, danger, peril, exposure to mischance or harm. From riscare, Italian, run into danger. And are we not in danger? This reminded me exactly of 2nd Esdras 7 and 6, right? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. This is the kingdom of heaven, the tree of life, access back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Verse 7, the entrance thereof is narrow, which is tight, straight, hard, right? Walk the straight and narrow, right? That saying. And is set in a dangerous place to fall. So if you think you come in this truth and it's just flowers and daisies and, oh, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai got me and he has a hedge around me. Yes and no. I don't know how to explain that one, but there is a hedge around the men of the Lord, no doubt. Okay, but the Lord will let Satan touch you just as he let Satan touch Job, who was perfect before the eyes of the Lord. You must remember that. Job didn't really, there was nothing Yahweh found wrong in Job. He just tested him. Satan put up a wager. Yahweh said, bet. Let's bet. Let's go. And us in this flesh going off multiple lifetimes, even in this lifetime before you came into the truth. You think the Most High is not going to try you? Right? It's a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both. Even between the fire and the water, so shall there slack it, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Simple. And just like in the video, the man Eubank Sr., he said the greatest risk is the risk of not doing anything, pretty much. That's what he said, paraphrasing. You just sitting there trying to be safe and calm. And I know that spirit. That's a terrible spirit, just even in the world. We're going to get into that. I got scriptures lined up. Let's go to Proverbs 22:13. And I'm going to read NLT, KJV, jump around. 22:13, Proverbs. The slothful man said, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. NLT reads, the lazy person claims, there's a lion out there. If I go outside, I might be killed. And this is just going into regular activities, man. You just scared of outside and conducting your business. And there's people like that, man. There's demons on them. Slothfulness, that's one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Right, but it's going into risk, taking risk. Oh, I'd rather not risk it. Let me play it safe. Playing it safe is not going to do anything for you, right? You got to risk these things. Being in this truth is a risk. We know that. Or I should say we should know that. And that's why it's not to be taken for granted, because just as you came into this truth, the Holy Spirit of Ruach HaKodesh came upon you, came into you, dwelt with you, supped with you. And hopefully you stayed into this thing and it tried you and you passed certain trials, right? But listen, if you're not doing the things in this truth that you're supposed to do, the risk is you can fall into the deep water or the fire. The Holy Spirit of Ruach HaKodesh can be taken from you. That's a risk. There's a risk of you not making it on the chariot. There's a risk of you being beheaded, but you of the elect. Whatever kind of risk you're weighing out, there's all kinds of risks in this truth. But just keep going forward. I say it again. The greatest risk is not doing anything. Right? The greatest risk is the risk of not doing anything. Okay? Now, there's another verse there. 26:13. Okay? Same scripture pretty much. It says, the slothful man said, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets. NLT, the lazy person claims, there's a lion on the road. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lion out there. Right? Pretty much just again. Making excuses. This can go into making excuses. Okay, my boss he's going to see me on the highways, my girlfriend, my this, my that. Whatever kind of way you want to play it. Oh, the lion is a metaphor, right? Oh, there's danger out there, danger. Of course, there's danger everywhere, man. Like in one of my favorite movies, Heat. Al Pacino, the guy's like, he's trying to get the information from the CI, from the confidential informant, and the guy's like, look, man, I can get killed for telling you this shit. And Pacino's like, you can get killed walking your doggy, and that's that's true. It doesn't, you make all these monsters in your head, and you know all these different anxieties which we all go through and demons, but you just gotta keep going, man. Even when there is no way, you can't see a way out. Yahweh Shem Shai can always make a way out. I can personally attest. I haven't seen a way out, and after that hurdle, I'm like, wow, like the Lord really made a way out for me. I didn't see a way out, but Yahweh Shem Shai made a way out for me personally, multiple times. So now I just look, fuck it. I lose this, I lose whatever. I got to keep going. You got to keep marching, man. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 11. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 3. I'll read this in the NLT. It says, when clouds are heavy, the rain comes down. When a tree falls north or south, it's like whether a tree falls north or south, it stays where it falls. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. Just as you cannot understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing in its mother's womb, so you cannot understand the activity of the Most High who does all things. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you don't know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. I believe that was it. Yeah, to 6. So again, this is going into just chance, man. Just things happen how they happen anyway. You can't, you know, um, oh, what's the risk assessment here? That's part of business too. I'm not saying don't be balanced, and if you have a business or whatever business you're conducting in this world, weighing things out is wicked. I'm not saying that in no way, shape, or form. But I'll say this, man. There's a saying I remember I was reading years ago. I was heavily into the martial arts theories, and I read Bruce Lee's book, Tao of Jeet Kune Do, or the Way of Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do was his style that he created, his system, right? The way of the intercepting fist. But he had a quote in that book, and I know I'm gonna chop it up. I don't remember it exactly, but he said pretty much, you can delve into theory and you know read about different systems and principles and different nice quotes and beautiful sayings and proverbs, but if you don't ever do anything, it's just that theories. It's just words on paper. It's just this. It's not. You got to delve into reality and actually do something and do it. Okay, you can't uh, uh, um, be so afraid of, man, the odds are against me. The risk assessment is not in my favor. It's just too much risk, right? The point is, look, when clouds are heavy, the rain comes down. Simple. Whether a tree falls north or south, it stays where it falls. So meaning things are gonna happen the way they happen. It's all of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We know this. We should know this. It's all of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. North or south, it just means, look, something happened this way or something happened that way, but the tree still fell. So whichever way you slice it, whichever way you move, that's how exactly it was supposed to be, pretty much. Like in the Matrix, he's like, when they couldn't get through with the Merovingian in the second one, they were in the elevator and they're like, so what happened? Is that it? He's like, was this supposed to happen? And Morpheus is like, yeah, it was supposed to happen. He's like, how do you know? He's like, because we're still alive, right? So whichever way you slice it, things are still gonna happen the way Yahweh Shem Yoshai wants it to happen. You're trying to micromanage and do all these different things, and yo, you cannot you cannot predict these things, man. You just have to play your role, play your lot. Simple. Okay, let's go to Hebrews 10:36. Okay, Hebrews 10 and 36. It says, "For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." Real quick, yeah, to 39. So let me read this in the NLT. It says, patience or patient endurance is what you need now. Okay, suffering. Patience means to suffer, suffering. Endurance means to make hard. Patient suffering. It's grueling. It's like watching a tree grow, trying to reach to the sun. Sometimes it's fucking grueling. But just like in Ecclesiastes 11, when it mentions when the clouds are full, the rain comes. Some things are inevitable. They just happen. It's just a natural process. And in this truth, you will lose. And Satan will test you on those things. You were with a girl for 2-3 years. You love her. She's the best thing you had. Boom. There's a big trial for you. It's not really a big trial. Women come and go, but in that moment, it seems like a big trial. And then you overcome, and you're like, oh man, you go to the next level, right? Patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do the Most High's will. You gotta suffer, and then you gotta be made hard. Okay, you gotta make yourself harder. That's how you will continue to do the Most High's will, because you're already used to suffering. You already know, oh, this is normal. This is what's gonna come. Right? As Paul said, what is that in the book of Peter? Marvel not as though some strange thing happened unto you. Strange things that you think is strange. I just serviced my car. What the fuck happened? This car is fucking, the the wheel bearings off. It's fucking making noise, or the check engine light is on, or this. All kinds of things pop up, man. Right? Then you will receive all that he has promised. For in just a little while the coming one will come and not delay, and my righteous ones will live by faith, but I will take no pleasure in anyone who turns away. But we are not like those who turn away from the Most High to their own destruction. That's it. That's the point. Even if you're homeless, bro, is it better to be homeless in the truth or in the world? Like, I get it. In the world, you may not have the morals. You might sling some drugs. You might do this, that, and the third to get up out of your situation. You can't do that in the truth. I tell you 100 times over, it is 100% better to be homeless in the truth rather than homeless in the world. It's the same shit, really, but you have more of that spirit. You have so much more to hope for in the truth. And if you really know the spirit, man, the spirit is so beneficial. The Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, that is a gift from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, but it says, we are the faithful ones whose souls will be saved. Okay, so like I said, man, homeless in the truth, homeless in the world, you're gonna have destruction. Once you go back in the world, that's all you're hoping for. I mean, that's all you're destined for. You're just destined for destruction. Once you turn your back on this plow, on this work, on this labor, you are just fit for destruction, man. All you guys that left the camp and talk shit and this and that, you guys are living your little delusion. You don't have the spirit to take your own spirit to go back to the spiritual realm. You're just here destined for missiles, man. Destined for carnage, race wars, all kinds of madness. You are destined for destruction. That's a terrifying thing. And like I said, you're in your little delusion. You think, oh, that won't happen, or you're not thinking about it, or you might get some terrifying dreams here and there, but you believe what you want to believe until that moment. Okay, that moment of judgment. Let me see. This is Proverbs 14:23. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury, which is poverty. Work brings profit, NLT, but mere talk leads to poverty. So, as I said, you can't just theorize and some of you guys on the sidelines and I don't know if I'm ready to go out there and listen, and I don't know, brothers are going to be looking at me and this. You have to make that decision, man. It's a risk, we know, right? But you have to make that decision. On the sidelines, you're just talking and shalom on the comment board and putting up 3, 4, 5 precepts, and And then whatever you do in your own life, you know, that's not going to do anything. But it says work brings profit. And we know there's different offices, administrations, and different brothers. Not everyone is exactly a prophet, okay, or teacher. You know, there's all kinds of offices. We know this, man. But you know in yourself if you're letting down your own spirit's trying to burst out and say, no, we got to be out there, and your demonic carnal flesh is like, nah, I can't do this. Okay? You know. Now let's get Philippians 3:13, which is one of my favorite scriptures. All right, Philippians 3. I'll read this in the NLT. It says, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on." Let me look up this word press.
Strong's G 1377. Dioko.
All right, dioko, to make, to run or flee, put to flight, drive away, to run swiftly in order to catch a person or thing. To press on, figuratively, of one who in a race runs swiftly to reach the goal, to pursue in a hostile manner, in any way whatever, to harass, trouble. I'm not going to read that one. To persecute, to be mistreated, suffer persecution on account of something, without the idea of hostility, to run after, follow after someone, metaphor, to pursue, to seek after eagerly, earnestly endeavor to acquire. So you can understand all this stuff Paul's saying, but I don't care. I was born a Benjaminite. I was a top teacher in Israel. I was this, I was that, I was respected, I had status. Paul was a man of reputation. All right. Forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead, I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which the Most High through Mashiach Yahushua is calling us. Let all who are spiritually mature agree on these things. If you disagree on some point, I believe the Most High will make it plain to you. Again, risk, man, falling into danger and peril. Okay. Just like the fish, when the fishermen seen Yahushua, what did they do? They dropped everything. They dropped their trade. They left their homes and followed this man. That's risk. That's some spiritual bondage, man. Those men were clearly there from the beginning with Yahushua. They just said, oh, here he is. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. That's what their spirit probably said. This is it. I've been waiting for this. You know? And I can say that because once I seen the apostles in 2007, I said, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it. Eureka. You know, I had that moment. The light bulb came on. I said, this is it. I've been looking for this. I resonate with this song. I can understand this. Wow. You know? So anyway, hope you're edified with that. Shalom to the elect. Ka halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Waharakhakudash. Shalom.